Alright, let's see here. I'm gonna do another general reading. This is S.S.Oracle, Shadow and Soul Oracle. My name is Savvy. Alright, let's see what comes out. We might not even get like a whole reading. It might just be like something esoteric. Might be a multi-dimensional chit chat. Grab those. We got faith or fear and pantheon. All right. So somebody has an interest in some mythologies or some different religious beliefs or philosophies here, and you're wondering, I don't know, you're wondering if you should go on this path or like what kind of dangers. Maybe this is maybe this has to do with voodoo is what I'm getting, just because of fear. And I feel like that's one of the only spiritual practices that bring about fear in people is like voodoo and hoodoo. But somebody has a gravitational pull towards it, and they're wondering if this is what they should do. My personal answer is yes, but I can't just be the one to tell you what to do. You have to allow your intuition and how you're led to be the ultimate determining source for that. You know what I mean? In your own heart. But you know, as a spiritual being having a human experience, like, we are infinite in our expression, right? We're infinite in our beingness. Like, just like our DNA is composed of different atoms and all of like all of that kind of stuff. Our genes, you know, we have different genes and all that kind of stuff within us physically. We have different energetic signatures in us as well. We're not just one energy. Aside from our unique soul, we are a bunch of different energies and a bunch of different elements, and we therefore can have a bunch of different connections with energies that have existed on this planet and in this realm and, you know, in the universe, in the cosmos. So if you're feeling that, then that's a legit feeling, okay? The fear part of it could be a attachment that you may have to a specific religion, or maybe there are people, family, that may not agree with or support your desire to want to go this way or to explore these things. But, you know, not everything is meant to be shared with people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, our relationship to the Most High God, right, is an intimate relationship, right? What's right between you and the Most High God is between you and the Most High God, ultimately. So how you practice your religion or spiritual, you know, beliefs has nothing to do with anybody but you and those spirits or that higher power. So I think the fear part is getting over maybe having to leave behind. But really, when you get deeper into it, and you don't really leave anything behind, because with spirituality, syncretism is a real thing. You can put together, there's a lot of puzzle pieces that connect with spirituality, okay? So the things that you may be having to leave behind might just be things that don't resonate with where you are on your path right now. They just may not resonate with where you are on your path right now. And, you know, they may pick back up later in the future, or you may connect a dot somewhere that brings it all together. But, you know, if you have to leave something behind or stop doing something to incorporate something new, then that's just a part of your journey. And, you know, you're being called to have faith in that. Okay? There's so many different, like, a telltale sign is if you were a kid, right? Like, I'll use myself as an example. If you were a kid and you had a strong, like, my first interest was in, like, Greek mythology. Greek and Roman. I was like always into like the stories of Hercules and, you know, and Athena and all that, you know, all that stuff. I remember taking a class in like my early years in college, and I was like, that was the only class I really paid attention to. We learned about Egypt. That's when I really first started learning about Egyptian history, and then all of the mythologies and the stories, Roman mythology and all of that. I was like heavily into what is that? The Clash of the Titans. Like when those movies came out, I was like into it. And then it was just like I was led into more of the African spiritualities and African pantheons and stuff like that. So you have to see what has piqued your interest over time, where you may have been led over time in your past, in your childhood, even where you had certain interests. Maybe certain video games had mythological elements to them, and even certain games do. Like, I feel like, Pokemon and stuff like that is mythical. You know what I'm saying? And that they deal with a lot of nature elements. Like a lot of Asian anime and stuff like that deal with heavy spirituality and connections with the divine and stuff like that. So you may have always had this connection. There's like a lot of energy going on right now. This is why I got this Palo Santo out here, because there's a lot of energy out here. Maybe you maybe be into demonology as well. Maybe you're into that. People tell you not to watch horror movies and stuff like that. I'm into that myself. Maybe you grew up, heavily in religion, and they told you you shouldn't watch those things, but you have an interest because there's something there for you to learn. Maybe you're not going to become, an evoker or invoker of demons, but you learn these things so that you have a repertoire of knowledge about them on your spiritual path. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't fear the curiosity that you have to explore these things, because they can be useful for you in understanding something. Okay? Have faith or have fear here. What else do I want? Let's pull one of these sacred geometries. That's a cool thing. That's like one of the coolest things on your journey, is exploring things. And especially if you've already had some type of interest in it. Like, it could have been something little. Maybe your birthday party was themed after some type of god and you didn't even know. And that's your connection. You know what I mean? It just takes a little research. You could research symbolism, right? Certain symbolism that's related to gods and deities. Maybe you have a favorite, even down to a favorite color, to be honest with you. Down to a favorite color can connect you to certain gods, goddesses, and deities and spirits and stuff like that, okay? Your numerology and stuff like that can connect you to certain, entities and spirits and gods. Like, you would be surprised. You would be surprised. So explore those pantheons. Okay, explore those pantheons. And again, you don't have to do this as a means to share it with other people unless they resonate with it. You know what I mean? Because, it could be discouraging when people don't support, or when people, talk bad about you or whatever, but this is a part of your knowing of self. And if you derive a joy from learning these things, then keep your joy. Look at this. Magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. Listen, get your Harry Potter on, okay? This is for somebody. Don't let nobody take your magic. Man, I was just thinking about this yesterday, because I was thinking about synchronicity, right? And how synchronicity is a magical phenomenon. Like, it's a normal thing, right? Like, when you observe, like, say you're thinking about a song and you hear the song, right? That's like a basic synchronicity. That's not an accident, right? That's not a coincidence. All that means is you were aware of balance at that point. Like, balance is always in order, right? In a divine sense. In the divine sense of the concept, balance is in order. You just have to have a certain eye and awareness to observe it. And synchronicity is just that. And that is a magical thing. Getting, pregnancy and giving birth is a magical thing. But again, back to normalizing things in society, we don't look at it that way. Getting something free when you weren't expecting it is a magical thing. Okay? But we think magic is now you see me, now you don't, which I can't wait for that next movie to come out, by the way. But we think magic is that kind of stuff, rabbit out the hat, you know what I'm saying, saw somebody in half type of stuff. No, magic happens every day in all types of seemingly normal ways. But in this case, in exploring your spirituality and even mysticism, right? That is a part of you. That's a part of you learning yourself, and that's a part of you learning how to interact with the environments out here, right? Elemental magic, you deal with the elements, right? You deal with herb magic, okay? Music is magic. Hello, frequency, sound healing, okay? All of that is magic. So whatever you consider magic, let that be your magic, okay? And have a belief in that. It's a beautiful sacred geometry. This is a sacred geometry oracle, but it's like, I know when people awaken, you get into sacred geometry and like the shapes and Metatron's cube and all of the different shapes, the tree of life, the seed of life, all of that stuff. And you learn these things, and you learn that those are all a part of you. So there's nothing wrong with that. Like, have faith in your interest. Have faith in your interest. Should I pull one more? I'll pull one more. Just one more. One more. One more. Explore. Explore. This is about having fun. It's time to explore. This is so fun. It's so fun. I used to do this at work. Let me tell you, when I had a certain job, I used to be on my break in the library researching things. I would eat my lunch for 10 minutes, and then the rest of the time I'd be printing out documents and read. Listen, it gets real. This is how you keep your vibration or your frequency consistent, is when you can incorporate these higher consciousness concepts and understandings into your mundane. What's up, dog? Okay. When you can incorporate these things into your mundane and your 3D reality, then you're really doing some work. You're really having fun with it. But have fun with it. Explore. If it's calling you, let it call you. Answer and explore. Okay. Like I said, we're made up in all different kinds of energies. Just like we have different genes and different stuff in our body, physically, biologically, spiritually, we're made up of a lot of elements. So if something is urging you or calling you to explore, it's just calling you to explore yourself. You're being called to explore you, to know you deeper. Empowerment. I hope you feel empowered. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. Right. Number 31 and 26 can be significant too for somebody. Okay. We are all connected through the same source, right? We all do come from the same source. We go on different paths, may have different journeys, right? But we're all connected and able to access forms of knowledge and information and practices so that we can bring ourselves back together, so we can bring ourselves back to that wholeness and that oneness that is spoken about across all, religions, from what I understand, right? It all goes back to one, right? No matter how many adjacent tangents you may go on in your life, it's all leading you to home, which is your heart, or home, which is your connection to source or your higher power. Okay? So long as it's bringing you peace, so long as it's bringing you joy, it's keeping you in love, it's not harming you, it's not harming others. It might hurt people's feelings, but hey, you can't control how people feel about your truth. If people don't like your truth, then they just don't like your truth. It is completely normal, healthy, and natural to not like things. It's completely normal and natural to not agree with things. Okay? So allow yourself to disagree with others and allow others to disagree with you. That's normal. You know what I'm saying? But your truth is your truth, and you don't want to hide that or downplay that or dismiss that just because other people aren't on board with it. This isn't, your journey is not for everybody. Your journey is for you. You understand? And when you can connect with other people who share at a common resonance, then that's a beautiful thing. But stay empowered to explore your magic and to explore certain pantheons or, mythologies, and learn something about yourself, because you will, and it's going to be great. All right. If you enjoyed this reading, you can click the link in the description. I do offer services. You can check that out as well. Peace.